Whatever, dude. That'd be like you saying, like, that... Never mind.
Nice. Good point.
Yeah,
excellent. Well, we need like a soundboard in here where every time you say something stupid, I press a button. So literally it'd just be me holding down a button for an hour and a half.
No one wouldn't, dude.
We wanted to start by talking about Matt Reeves' Batman movie.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, we briefly talked about it, I think, before, right?
We have, but like this whole The Batman thing and the DCEU has come up over and over again.
Yeah.
Both in news media and our channel. Both. So I think that it's a little bit of a...
It's a little saturated.
Yeah, it's like kind of beaten to death, like talking about the DCEU, which is too bad. And part of that's because of mismanagement, like of just not controlling information at all of what comes out for these movies, not being able to keep cast members, not being able to lock down scripts for like the Batman that actually would satisfy who the main actor was supposed to be.
That's a really good point, dude. Because when you think about it, like we talk about Avengers in the Marvel universe, but like it's just like I'm excited for this movie. It's not wondering, so what's going on? What's the next movie? Where's the plan? It's there's hype, but it's not this where it's more of like drama. It's more of just like, oh, I'm excited to see the next movie. You know what I mean? So no, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I think they've really dropped the ball on some major aspects, and like especially tonally now that I don't know if they want everything to be not a joke, but like super light following, BVS, but like Justice League was, Aquaman was, Shazam was. So I'm kind of like, it doesn't look like Joker will be, but then even that they've emphasized, no, that's its own thing.
Well, even, I was going to say Wonder Woman was even a little bit lighter too. It had darker moments, but it was kind of, you laughed a decent amount throughout that movie. It was lighter.
And I think, though, that's the best example they've done of a good balance.
Yes, I agree.
Because every other movie has been like, dude, we're down in the World War I trenches of like filth. I mean, I know that's Wonder Woman, but I just mean like emotionally and like Man of Steel and like BVS. It feels more like you're a war veteran than in Wonder Woman.
It feels like Soviet Russia. Dude. Yeah, you smile, you're getting kicked in the chest, dude.
Yeah, and then you have stuff like Aquaman and Shazam, where it's like, my man, yeah dude, whoa, hey, it's me, Aquaman, what's up? And like,
or Cyber, booyah.
Or even in Shazam, where it's just like Captain Sparkle Fingers and stuff like that. Like, I enjoy it, but let's be honest, it feels really produced.
Yeah,
in those senses. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine I was talking to as well said like, the reason I could not have fun at Shazam is everything feels like a script. Like, everything feels like it's super produced, really cleaned up. Like, let's make a really hokey 90s family drama. And it's like, to some people, like, to me, that's fun because they haven't done that with a superhero movie in, like, forever.
DC, at least.
Yeah. And even Marvel, to an extent, hasn't gone, like, that ridiculously light.
That's
like,
fair.
In tone. Yeah. Like, it was even beyond Marvel, like, in terms of lightness.
That's fair.
But I don't know if that's really the correct direction to go. I think they should go for not a mixture in everything, but whatever tone fits the movie. And considering that every movie has been getting more like bright and lighter, except for the promotions shown by the Joker, it's just not a good sign to me. I don't see that being the case with the Batman, but I guess it's just kind of hitting the point where like any hype I had is sort of gone for this. I still want to see it. I still want it to be a good Batman movie. But I'm also like, oh, it's gone into pre-production. Yay.
Yeah. Oh, and there's plenty of time for the hype to build. All it takes is, for example, a really good trailer. Yeah. So like the Joker trailer. I'm insanely hyped for that movie now. Because it was probably the greatest trailer I've ever seen. Like, it was incredible. But with the Batman, I think we're going to need some time to kind of just... I think people are excited, though. Yeah. Because I think Robert Pattinson, it's not as... People aren't as angry, I think, as they were when Batfleck was first casted. I've gotten more of like, well, we didn't like Batfleck originally, and then we kind of liked him. So
but
now
how much
it's
of
like,
that's because they don't care as much anymore, though, too? Because it's just been dragged out forever.
Yeah.
And like the will they, won't they with Ben Affleck. Like, it was going on since after BVS.
So people are more... Yeah, maybe that's true. Maybe their expectations are just lower. So maybe it's just, well, we'll see. Hopefully it's good. Where I think after Christian Bale going into Batfleck, it was a bit more of a... you have to there were bigger shoes to fill, and now it's more of like, well, you got 3 films with Batfleck, and now it's
really only one of them. No, it's 2 because he's in BVS and he's in Justice League.
He makes I guess he's quick cameo in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but he has like a minute of screen time,
if that. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just odd, and everything about this like swapping off into a new continuity is odd, and then I think that the best route to go would have been to set this in the Joker continuity. Maybe they'll eventually cross them over. I don't know. I know Joaquin Phoenix is not known for doing sequels, but why would you get on such a high-profile actor that can do such an amazing job and possibly almost redefine the character again like Heath Ledger did? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he'll be Heath Ledger. I guarantee you, though, there are people who are going to like argue over which one's better.
Yeah, I think so as well.
In terms of quality, because look at him as an actor.
Yeah,
like him and Heath Ledger are. I know you can't say anybody's comparable to Heath Ledger because Heath Ledger passed, but like,
right?
Because like that's not cool. But like, I would say they're pretty comparable in terms of like the caliber of actor they are.
Oh, Joaquin, he's incredible. He's a really, really good actor. Yeah. And I mean, he's obviously put a lot into this role and is just fully dived in. And I mean, it's cool because the directors that they were both paired with are huge, and I think they've benefited off of those relationships. Both of them did. So Heath Ledger with Christopher Nolan.
Yep.
And then it's Scorsese, right?
Yeah.
Scorsese's
producing.
Right. But he's still involved.
Yes.
So I mean that's huge to have those two minds working together in both films. So I mean it's cool to see both of those. I think it's awesome that we're gonna have, as far as Joker, as far as like defining Joker movies, ignoring Suicide Squad, we're gonna have The Dark Knight with Nolan and Ledger. And then we could have an iconic Joker movie with Scorsese. I don't know exactly who's directing it. Do you know who's directing it? I thought it was Scorsese was directing it as well.
No, he's producing it.
Okay.
I knew off the top of my head until you like asked.
Right.
Now I don't.
I know.
So that's a yikes.
But still having him involved, and then with Phoenix. So I think it's really cool. I think that is the movie I'm most excited for DC wise right now.
Absolutely.
But Birds of Prey is still interesting too.
Yeah, and actually, just not to gloss over the Batman, but there were testing screens, going on.
Yeah.
And people were only saying positive things.
About Birds of Prey?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So far. Yeah. However, it's the same with BVS. Like, early test screenings were good. Yeah. So it doesn't mean anything. It can be a positive gauge. I can see Margot Robbie acting her little heart out no matter what, because she's an amazing actress.
Fantastic.
And she does a phenomenal job, and she can drag up the worst of movies just by being there. But I don't know, man. Like a lot of the luster and excitement of the DCEU or the worlds of DC is just kind of gone. And like, look at my bookshelf, man. Like, I have a huge passion for DC. It's like I literally only want it to be the best it can be. But we've just not gotten anything out of this, and all we really have is rumors too. Like a lot of it. So like, some of the rumors too, and like the non-confirmed, confirmed script details, which make of that what you will. There was a lot of comparisons to like the classic film Chinatown, because it was supposed to be this kind of detective noir style thing. But then you also read the report recently that it's not the Year One story.
Yep.
It's not a spin on the Year One story. Mm-hmm. So yes, he might be younger, but he's not that young.
Right.
It's not his first year as Batman. So I would expect this to be somewhere, like, if we're going off the Arkham timeline, which this is totally different, I would expect it to be somewhere between like Origins, where he's been Batman for a year or two, and Asylum, where he's been it for like 8 or 9 years, Like, I wouldn't expect it to be further on the spectrum of either of them. Like, I'd expect maybe he's been Batman 4 or 5 years. He's worked his way into it. He's not a master by any means, but he's not dead, so that says something. And then, like, he grows over the course of a few movies, and I think that could be really cool. I just think that it's hard for me to be, like, just totally hyped up about this, because it also comes back to saturation. Like, we have enough Spider-Man, we have enough Batman. You can only have so many interpretations of these characters on screen before it's like, all right, maybe we could let this breathe a little bit,
or just have some like consistency. Because I think that's what's nice about this is we're getting, it sounds like, a guaranteed trilogy out of this, and then who knows what,
unless Robert Pattinson dies.
Gosh, dude,
can you imagine?
Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, for all of the like ups and downs, like I just to have some consistency would be great. Because Henry Cavill now, like, actually, some side note, they just came out with a picture. I think he put it on his Instagram of him as The Witcher. Like, that picture just came out today.
Yeah.
So he's doing that stuff now. So who knows if he's going to be back doing Superman?
Pretty much everyone said no.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, you don't know about Ezra Miller as the Flash. I mean, obviously Batfleck's done. So, I mean, it's just having some consistency and then building something is, I think, what we want, and not just a bunch of scattered stuff. You want some consistency. That's what the Marvel universe did so well. So to have Pattinson in for 3 movies, then you just kind of see where it goes. But if he does well, which I think he will, he's a really good actor. I mean, ignoring his Twilight stuff, like, whatever.
Well, yeah, and he did that because he was a younger actor, and they offered him a huge part based off of, no offense to him, a lot, having the right look for that character.
Absolutely.
And he's grown a lot as an actor since then, so it's like, I don't... Everybody's been in crap.
Exactly.
Like, that means nothing. Like,
No,
the fact that some people were so upset when it's like, what's the Twilight guy? It's like, yeah, but like, I don't know, man. Like, you can find like absolute garbage Christian Bale has been in. I'm not saying he was bad in it, but he has been in some movies that were not good.
Yes, he has.
It has nothing to do with him.
Exactly.
Terminator Salvation sucks. He was in it. He tried.
Yeah.
He also had a famous set meltdown.
Yeah, he did.
But he did his best to like make the movie good.
Oh, good for you, dude.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just... that means nothing, but
no, I think he'll be fine. I think he's a really good actor. I think he's talented, and he's got for me personally, he's a great look for a young Batman. I think he'll fit that mold really well. He'll get into shape. He'll be ready to go, and I think he's a really good fit for it. So I am excited about it, and it's cool that it's moving now. We're making progress. We're probably 2 years out, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a 2020 or late 2020, sometime 2021 was like the expected release date for this thing.
Sure.
No one really knows.
But it's a different kind of movie. If the rumors are true and they're going for a world's greatest detective kind of thing, and it's more of a noir kind of darker feel to it, where it's more of like a mystery with some twist. Cool. I think that's great.
Yeah, because that's also very different from the Christian Bale stuff.
Yes.
Not that he never did any detecting, but like they did very little of showing it. Like the scene of like figuring out who the Joker was and the piecing together the bullet in like the makeshift Batcave.
Yeah.
That was really cool cinematography that they were doing.
Or even that massive at the end of the movie with the massive screen where they like kind of figured out where he was. Yeah, for sure.
But they don't do enough of that in that trilogy, really. But that trilogy is also a weird hybrid. Like, in the sense of, like, it's not really about the action. It's not really about the detecting. It's more about the myth of Batman.
Yes.
And only the myth of Batman, really. Because the very beginning of Batman Begins, it's about, like, building a myth that will outlive you. The middle of, The Dark Knight is about, like, how can that myth, like, serve the greater good?
And pass it on.
And
like, he's looking to move on, yeah.
And Rises is, like, how will this myth affect Gotham City moving forward, even if I'm not there, and who will carry the torch of it?
Yep.
And in that way, it's a very good trilogy that's very complete. In other ways, there are things that suffer because of Heath Ledger dying and, everything like that. But, like, that thematically was done excellently.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I think you need to, not that you can't touch it, but you just need to make sure that you're not, repeating the same beats in this, which it sounds like it's not. And in that way, I'm excited for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I like that they're going a different direction. I like Matt Reeves a lot. I just like him. I don't know. I think it'll be cool to see who they cast as, like, a villain, and obviously we'll get more information as it comes along.
Please not Joker.
Yeah, well...
Enough.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, do something. I mean, just to go even, like we saw, it was a fake thing, but Andy Serkis says the Penguin was like something that some random person had posted.
Oh, and I would love something where it's just like a lesser known villain. Like you do something like the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
Or you do Prometheus. Like we talked about.
The problem is you want to get people into the theaters. Though,
yeah,
still.
Absolutely. But the Batman name's on it. They're in.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I think they're in. Even if they act like they don't care. Like Batman sells everything. Like DC can literally put a picture of Jeff Johns' fecal matter that he passed from that morning on a comic book, and if it said Batman on it, it would sell.
It do.
By the way, I love Jeff Johns. He's an amazing writer. Right, I'm just saying they can do anything with Batman, and maybe they won't get return tickets to a sequel, like if it's bad, but I'm sure they would get butts in the seats for the first one. You have to look at Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man had 3 movies, one of which was insanely good, Spider-Man 2.
A really good movie.
One of which was very good, Spider-Man 1. One of which is super divisive, pretty bad movie, Spider-Man 3. I love it. but it's not good.
No, it's not. No.
Then you have the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. 1 is pretty boring and not very good, but fine. And 2 sucks.
Very bad.
Really bad. So you had these 5 movies you ran through. They all had amazing sales, by the way. Every one of them. Homecoming comes around, guess what? Amazing sales. There's certain characters where it's like, it's just hard to get people not to go. And I don't fully get that, because it can have Batman in it and be bad.
Yeah.
But people will go. Because I think what you said, like, people are looking to unplug and go to a movie or whatever, and they're not looking to research if the movie's good. They're looking to go sometimes.
That's a good point. Yeah. I was just, as far as, like, looking at overall hype, I think you're right. I think that people will just go to the theater because it's Batman, and just out of curiosity for one, and then for the love of the characters as well. But hype-wise,
yeah,
a bigger name, you know what I mean?
You do want to build it.
You want a bigger one, but the thing
I don't think you want one that's already been done, though.
No, and you don't need, especially with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, you don't need another Joker in there.
No, because what if you want to cross them over eventually? They've talked about maybe wanting to cross over the worlds of DC properties again at some point.
Yeah.
When they're more established. So it's like if you have a Joker and then you're crossing over that one, you know, into this, like, that's assuming Joaquin would come back.
Right.
But if he would, like, you've kind of created a weird situation, and you can get away with that in comic books of, like, having multiple iterations of a character running around. It's hard in a movie.
It'd be interesting to see if they brought in, like, if they went completely obscure though and went with, like, a really, like, I doubt they'd go for, like, an R rating, but if they went for, like, a really, like, kind of creepy vibe, if they went for, like, a
hard PG-13,
yeah, like a Toy Man maybe, or just someone like kind of just weird and just kind of creepy, or even like
oh my gosh, Scarface.
I was just gonna say Scarface. I was just gonna say that too. Can you imagine like a Scarface where it was actually kind
That'd
of
be incredible, because some of the Scarface episodes of BTAS were some of the best in the series.
Amazing.
They're so creepy.
Mad Hatter.
Especially the one in the factory.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mad Hatter is a good one. Mad Hatter's hard to do, but you could do him. I think the problem with him would be the special effects budget would be insanity.
Yeah, with all of his weird visions and stuff. Yeah.
I think that would be real hard to do, but you could.
You could do that.
If anyone could pull it off, it would be, you know, Warner, because they have so much money.
Oh my, yeah.
But
people like that though, you know what I mean? Like just go weird with it. Do something that's kind of creepy. Do something that's different.
Well, this is what you'll have to do when you bring back Superman as well. You can't just go back to Zod. Zod's been done in 2 movies.
Right.
You can't just go back to like Darkseid or Steppenwolf now. Really?
Yeah, it's been done.
Even though sadly Darkseid never showed up.
You could probably do Luthor again, because I feel like you didn't really do him that.
You
much,
can, but
you know
he's in a lot of Superman movies too, like the classic.
Yeah,
Christopher
he was in the
ones.
classic ones. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard because this is the same problem DC has with their comics, because at times they rely a little too much on these, you know, core characters, like even with the heroes like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash. We can't deviate from this. This is what people will buy. I don't care that we have some of the coolest like characters in comics, like the Charlton Comics characters we collected, like The Question. Do you remember The Question?
Yes, yeah.
And he showed up in Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
I don't know how, because Justice League Unlimited was actually like Bruce Timm and them saying like, yeah, whatever, like we don't care that we have Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. We're gonna like make Supergirl awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna make The Question really cool. And like they're able to do really cool stuff in the original DCAU with those characters, but in the comics and movies, I think they've struggled a little with them because, you know, you're trying to hold on to those sales and you don't want people.
You don't want to take big risks.
No,
essentially.
No one's going to show up to a Question movie.
No.
If DC made The Question the movie, no one would come, and that sucks, but that's the way it is. And for a long time, Shazam was that way. So they worked him out of that, which is really cool.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that like, who would have thought that people would go see Guardians of the Galaxy in theaters and it'd do really well?
No, nobody.
So
remember, it was supposed to be a failure when they announced it.
But you build a good product and you build something that you can say, well, hey, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's got the Marvel name behind it, so it's probably going to be good. So that's they're not at that point. They're
no,
not at
absolutely
the point where it's
not.
like, oh, it's got the DC.
It's
brand
almost
on
the
it.
opposite.
It is.
People expect it not to be that good,
or they expect it's
too
going to be
bad.
a gamble. Like, I'll either hate this or I'll love this. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
So where like it's a Marvel. There's literally a thing where it's a Marvel movie. I'm going to see it.
Yep.
That's not where DC's at. So like DC could hypothetically, if they got to that point, put out a the Question movie, and it could be really good.
Yeah.
But they're not there.
No,
so
no,
it's just
absolutely
a matter of
not.
building there.
And it takes a long time to get there. Marvel, I would say it took Marvel 7 years to get there, probably, or 6 at least. With like the first Guardians movie is the first time that I think they used a really low profile group and turned them into something. I know Iron Man and Captain America, people they weren't household names at the time, but like people knew who they were compared to the Guardians.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's what I mean by that. So that's rough. It'll take a while for them to get there. I hope they do. I just hope that they don't pigeonhole themselves into like this idea of like, well, people are really only going to like Wonder Woman, Batman, and the Joker. So let's kind of just play it safe with everything, and that's just the only place where we have fun.
And we'll just make their spin-offs and then do Justice League 45.
Yeah, like I don't want that.
No.
If I want all the Justice League, I can read the comics, or I can watch like one of the greatest cartoons of all time.
Yeah.
Justice League.
Or Unlimited, which is great too.
They're both amazing.
100%.
So it's rough. It's weird that the cartoon universe is so much better put together than the DCEU.
By a lot.
Yeah.
Too. Like, it was structured. It was done well. The movies were good for a long time. Like, it was just really good content. Oh, it was consistent.
And even now, I know some of the new ones were divisive, like Batman and Harley Quinn.
Or, I don't know, like...
The Fatal Five.
Justice League versus Teen Titans.
Well, no. So those are not part of the DC animated universe.
Oh, they're not?
They're like the Bruce Timm universe.
Oh,
their
gotcha.
own... They're their own DC animated universe,
right.
Which is stupid.
It's dumb, yeah.
But I'm talking about like even just the Bruce Timm, his style stuff. So like how he brought back Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And that scene is divisive. Some people really enjoyed it. Some people did not.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought back Justice League versus the Fatal Five. It seemed more liked. Like people liked it more. But no one... I really enjoyed it. Like, I think it's one of the best animated things they've done since they quit the DCAU, but it's not the DCAU in terms of, like, it's not as strong.
Standard. Gotcha.
Yeah. But, like, when you haven't been hitting that in years, I'll take close.
Yes. Yeah.
100% I'll take close.
Yeah.
Over, like, bad or, like, nothing. I don't know.
100%.
It's just been a rough couple years for DC. And yet their comics are, like, more interesting than ever with everything going on with Rebirth and... tying in the Watchmen and everything, like without any kind of spoilers really at all, because like that's the big event going on right now. They have got great ideas in the comics. They're just fascinating and fantastic.
Well, and couldn't they just hypothetically take those ideas and put them into the movies? Like, why don't they?
They could, but it took so long to build up the backbone skeleton to these ideas. Like
right.
Like the Watchmen crossover. Watchmen was created like, oh man. I'm trying to think, 35 years ago? It was a long time ago.
In the 70s, right? 80s?
Yeah, late 70s, I think.
Yeah.
And that is a little bit the backbone of this crossover. So, like, that's a cultural icon property. And it wouldn't really work in the movies because people... The Watchmen movie, you and I both enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's
Director's
divisive.
cut, though. Director's cut.
But
the full thing.
But it's divisive. Even the director's cut is a little divisive.
Oh, yeah. I can totally see that.
The theater one is more... But the director's cut one is like, yeah, this is fine, but like I love the comic and this is not the comic. So it would be hard to do something like that, and like the constant reboots of things like the New 52 and the Crises and stuff like that. You can build that stuff up over years in the comics, and it's a lot less money to do. Like you're not CGIing your way, out of everything. You draw it. And that can be expensive, but it is not at all the same ballpark as making a movie.
Right.
Not even close. And then you sell 100,000 or 150,000 of that comic book at $4-ish a pop, and it cost you maybe 20 cents to make each one. Like, dude, you're printing money.
Yeah.
Movies don't really do that. Like, certain ones do, but a lot of money from movies actually comes from merchandise. Because of, how much money goes into marketing.
Right.
You don't market comics very much. You release, like, now, DC will do a short 30-second or minute trailer that's briefly animated on YouTube about a comic book they're doing that's supposed to be a big event. They'll do a few of them a year. That's the only marketing they need. So, it's just a different game.
It's 100% different. Yeah.
And it sucks, but... It's totally different.
Yeah, no, you can't really like change that either. It's just
no.
the way the landscape is.
No.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why you can't. I think they could more easily use those if they had an established universe. Like Marvel now could start pulling from their comics a lot easier into the established universe they have. Let's tweak this. Let's change this. Let's make this fit. They did it with Civil War.
100%. And they changed it.
Yeah.
They switched stuff up and made it their own.
Yeah. And it's really good.
It's really good.
Both are really good. The comic and the movie.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just, it's so different. And it's too bad that, like, it's been such a toss-up with DC.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it'll be that way forever.
No, I don't think so either. I think eventually, like, especially once they start getting some consistency down, I think they'll be in good shape. But it's just a matter of putting out a few good films and then building the potential Marvel foundation where it's got the DC logo, people will go and see it. Then you can take risks. Then you can do cool things with characters that people don't know, and you make them know the characters, and then they love the characters. Guardians of the Galaxy quickly became some of, like, people's favorite characters in the whole Marvel
and it
universe.
sold comics too. Like they rebooted the Guardians kind of with their movie looks in the comics and started selling them, and they sold a lot.
And now they're gonna have a trilogy of the movies.
Yeah, so
they're gonna make 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy. Like if you go back in time and say, yeah, there's gonna be 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies when they launch, like, what, Iron Man 1, say.
Yeah, first thing I'd say is who?
Yeah, what are you talking about? And then you're gonna make 3 of them, and they'll probably like between all 3 of them make over $2 billion, at least.
Yeah, I don't know the exact movie, but you're right. I think it's going to be closer to 3 by the time.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. So it's a lot, and Marvel's able to cross promote.
Yes,
like they're able to take something in the comics, make a bigger deal out of it, make you care about the comics. Then you go see the movie. They're able to take the movie, make another character that no one cared about in the comics, be like, hey, remember Guardians, or remember like Doctor Strange that we haven't done much with in the comics outside of a few crossovers in years. Well, he's back. Mm-hmm. And then they're able to like turn it into a comic book and sell that, and then that works to promote the next movie, and it goes back and forth. One of the smartest Marvel marketing things I have ever seen was when Civil War was coming out. You know what they did in the comics? Created another Civil War.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, it was a sequel to the original Civil War involving Iron Man and Captain Marvel.
Oh, that's right. I saw that cover. Yep. Yeah.
And it was so smart for promotional material because it got people talking. People who are reading comic books were talking about Civil War. People who watch the movies were talking about Civil War. People who were reading Civil War 2 thought back about Civil War 1 and they thought, how is this movie going to be? People who were watching the movie thought, I should go to my comic shop and check out some of these characters. This is cool. And they saw Civil War 2 and they bought it. It's really brilliant marketing.
Genius.
You can say it's shoehorned writing. By the way, the writing was actually pretty good for Civil War 2. But it's, no matter what you say about the writing of that the marketing's stellar.
Yeah.
And DC doesn't do that. And I don't get it.
No. Because they should. And they have just as much property to work with. Probably more, honestly. Like, they've got so much content to work with.
Yeah.
That they just don't use. And they don't take advantage of.
No, and they fall back too much on the same things. The same people, the same ideas. And I do think that Batman still sells stuff, like, on name. I'm starting to think, though, in movies, Superman doesn't, because he's had such a rough time with films. Like, the first Christopher Reeves movie is good, but if you didn't watch it as a kid, it did not actually age well, in my opinion. Like, if you go to watch it now, and you're a teenager or young adult, and you've never seen it, I would say it's a toss-up if you're going to like it. And that's because of, the visual effects and everything. Like, it just didn't age well in that regard. If you can look past that, it's a phenomenal movie. Superman 2 is pretty good. 3 is pretty bad. 4 is horrendous. Superman Returns is better than anything since Superman 2, and I enjoyed it, but a lot of people hated it because it's still not a great movie.
No, it's pretty average.
Yeah. Man of Steel, I like. I know a lot of people don't, and I know, it's a topic of debate, and BVS even more so. So it's like, I think that it's hitting a point where people like see Superman on the cover of a movie, and they're not necessarily like, that's going to be great.
He hasn't had like a great live action movie that people point to and say, oh, but this is what Superman can be.
Oh, they do. Christopher Reeves, and that's it. And now it doesn't matter to younger people.
No, that's a problem now. Like, this generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, the closest thing that I've seen is that it's an animated movie. It's All-Star Superman. That was amazing.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's amazing.
And the book's even better, but the movie's unreal.
It's fantastic. And it's just, it really took Superman out of that, like, unstoppable, just kind of boring Boy Scout kind of character, and pushed him a little bit, which is what you need in a movie with Superman. Like, he's unstoppable. He's essentially a god in the universe.
A god among us.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't know. He hasn't had that signature Dark Knight movie, really.
No, and Man of Steel was supposed to be that. And to some people it was, but to a lot of people it wasn't.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. And the only reason I brought that up is because if you're going to rely on these trademark characters, you would need every example of them in the visual medium to be stellar for people to be like, I'm going to go to every single one. Otherwise, you will hit a point where just Superman being on something because you've kind of, blown your load over and over again, people are like, oh, okay.
Right.
And that's it. There's no reaction to it.
Yeah, you start to lose interest. That's it. And then you lose money, and then you don't build the foundation that you need to take risks with other characters.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
And then when you lose those actors, you have no foundation left, and you've built nothing else up around it. Can you imagine how, spoiler here for Endgame, okay? Spoiler for Avengers Endgame. I'm sure you've seen it. Can you imagine how bad this situation would be now if they had not built up other characters other than Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.'s characters in Marvel?
Oh, there'd be chaos. You'd have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need consistency. At least if you're going to... They're not doing this anymore, obviously, but the original plan was to have a DCEU that was...
Just one continuity.
Just one continuity. And they went away from... They couldn't do it. And they have some good pieces. They really actually had some really quality pieces in their characters. And I thought they did some good casting. But, like you said, they just couldn't get it fully to work the way they wanted to. They didn't have good scripts, whatever. We talked about it a lot. But,
yeah, for sure.
But it just, like you said, like, I can't imagine Endgame without having every single one of the characters that were you remembered them from certain scenes in all of their movies. Like, it was all, even like remote small characters from Wakanda.
Yeah, like Valkyrie, the Wakandans, or like the Valkyrie coming. I like how you just called like Black Panther and Wakanda small characters.
Yeah. Well, no.
I would like to take this moment to disassociate with this man so that I'm not flogged on the internet, please. I would like to take this moment to say that what's that? Oh, the guns to my head. Yes, I'll read right off the script. Black Panther is the best superhero movie ever. What's that say?
And should have won the Oscar.
Should have won all Oscars from the... I can't say this.
Say it.
Years 1995. It wasn't even out there.
Hurry up.
Through 2050. Should have won all of them.
Thank you.
And the People's Choice Awards?
Now get out.
Okay. All right.
You know, I was talking about like that M'Baku guy, though. You know what I mean, from Black Panther.
Yeah, I do.
Like that guy. Like, even that, I was like, oh.
When you said that, I was like, embargo? Is he like? He's like a review master. He's like, stop! You cannot publish that Black Panther review yet. Wait another day.
The ethnic Robert Ebert or whatever his name is.
Not everyone who is not white is considered ethnic. Everyone's ethnic.
Maybe I don't know what that means then.
Ethnicity is just like where you're from. Like,
that's pretty ethnic. Then he's from Wakanda.
I guess you're right.
Yeah,
and you're pretty ethnic because you're from Minnesota.
Thank you, dude.
We're all pretty ethnic.
We're
here.
all ethnic.
Every one of us.
Yeah.
That's why we're creating the Ethnic League of America.
Yeah. But you can't join.
No, absolutely not. What? I was going to say, though, too, they have built in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we need to transition out of this in a minute.
Yeah, we do.
Point.
We got a lot of stuff to get to still.
But they have built in the Marvel Cinematic Universe legacies to all of their characters, too. Like, and the ones that they haven't, surprise, surprise, they're not gone.
Mm.
So, like, Spider-Man, he is Tony Stark's legacy in a way. And that's even if you ignore his daughter. You know, like, Spider-Man is kind of what Tony left behind, and that's one of the arcs they're exploring in Far From Home.
And I'm sure Morgan Stark will show up in other things too later. Yeah.
Yes. And I also think, though, but in Far From Home in the trailer, like, one of the things he says is, like, the world needs the next Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, how am I going to do that, basically? And you see that, too, with, even though I don't love Falcon is supposed to, with Bucky, carry on the torch of, like, what it means, at the very least, what it meant to be Captain America. Of, like, that symbol of, like, the hope that he inspired. So even characters like Shuri and Bruce Banner are kind of stepping in to fill the genius role of Tony Stark. There's so much that when you take a cog out of the machine, these other cogs can kind of move closer together.
Plural. Multiple cogs.
Yeah, without just one. You don't just jam in like, this is the new Tony Stark.
He's a replacement now. Yeah. No.
It's his clone.
No, dude. They take multiple people and try to fill the shoes of one person. And they're good characters that are already established. They just do it well. And it works. And it's going to work because they're good characters and people like them. So it'll work.
They do a great job with that. And I think if DC is going to have the success that they want to have, they will need to build a universe or a multiverse at the very least where they can do that. And that they can explain why they bring someone over when they do. So if they need to bring over Joaquin Phoenix Joker, like if he wants to come back to fill a role that somebody else left, they need to be able to do that and explain it. And they also need to have someone else set up for when eventually Pattinson doesn't want to be Batman anymore. That someone else, not that they have to be Batman, but you could have another character that kind of fills that void a little bit and makes people still want to go to a movie that says DC without having to reboot everything all the time.
Because can you imagine if they had something cool where like, and they wouldn't copy and paste.
You're talking like 10 years out from now?
10 years out, so they have something really cool. Batman dies, and you've got the Bat family to kind of come in and fill his role. And you've got a cool Robin established. You've got maybe a Batgirl established.
Nightwing. You got Nightwing, and maybe eventually he becomes the new Batman.
Yeah, or even Catwoman to mix in there as well. Like, they're all just filling the role. Like, it's cool stuff like that we're thinking of right now that I would love to see, and that would be incredible to see. But it's a long ways out, and they haven't even started paving the road yet. So it's something that like you can speculate about and kind of hope and dream, but we have a long ways to go before we get anywhere like that with DC.
For sure, but we both really want to see it.
Really want to see it. And I'll go to all the movies because I love it.
Yeah, and I go see them too, and just at the very least to support competition for Marvel. I think it's worth seeing because Marvel is amazing, but you should never let a brand get complacent.
And monopolize.
Yeah. Because that's insane. Because no matter what you think about the X-Men or the Fox-Men, they're not around to compete with anyone anymore.
No.
So this is it. It's what you got.
Got Venom in DC, pretty much, yeah.
So good luck.
Yeah, that's it.
But moving on from that, I mean, we are going to get back to superheroes in a little bit. We wanted to talk about, I think this will be briefer, this story. Yeah. But moving into gaming news, Mortal Kombat 11, there was a DLC leak, and there's been multiple DLC leaks. And some of the confirmed or seemingly confirmed characters were Joker, this is the main thing I want to talk about here. Terminator. They had Ash from The Evil Dead. Spawn, who was supposedly confirmed now. There's other ones too, like Nightwolf, Sindel, Shiva, Fujin, Shang Tsung. Some of these are from like other fighters. Some of them are from other properties. Some of these don't matter as much to me in terms of talking about, as much as I want to say two things. Actually, three. One, Spawn, who everybody's been saying, like, Todd McFarlane's been like, yeah, I want him in Injustice 1. And then, yeah, I want him in Mortal Kombat 10. Yeah, I want him in Injustice 2. Okay, like, by the time he's in now in Injustice, in Mortal Kombat 11, I don't really care anymore. Gotta be honest with you. He's a cool character in some interpretations, really lame in others. Go check out my Spawn graphic novel guide, please.
Great review.
Yeah. Thank you very much. But the Terminator, I really think they're making a push to bring back the Terminator brand now that Cameron has his hands back on that wheel. I get it. He would be cool. Terminator has been sort of ruined over the years. There's 2 amazing Terminator movies, and everything else is mediocre to trash. Other than the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I haven't watched, but a lot of people like. It's a show.
Okay.
You should watch, though, if you have not seen Terminator 1 and 2.
I haven't, actually.
They're on Vudu.
That's right.
Watch them. Terminator 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time, ever.
It's that good.
It's amazing. And it might be my favorite action movie ever.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I've heard they're amazing. I did hear like the newest ones are really bad though.
Yep, you're right.
And the new trailer doesn't look that great either.
It looks okay.
Yeah.
However, the one positive I will give it is that James Cameron was the one who was able to make that brand good, and he has it back now.
Oh, that's him doing it.
Yes. So, yeah, there's things that don't look great about it. I think some of the CGI looks okay.
Yeah.
I think that we don't know enough about the movie, and I think that it has good music. And that's the only opinion I have about that trailer. But the Terminator's in this. He's also in Gears of War. Did you see that?
No.
They're shoehorning him into Gears of War.
What?
Well. So
really?
I don't know if like the Terminator's in everything, like Terminator coming to FIFA 2020, you know, like Terminator in NBA 20.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on with Terminator here, that like he needs to be in every single thing ever made.
What is going on?
This is the one that makes most sense to me as being a fighter. The others, I don't get them, but whatever.
Right.
I don't know. I don't really have anything else on that. And Ash Williams, who first Bruce Campbell, the voice actor, had said, no, that's not true. And then reportedly he got a call after that, and the plans are changing that he is going to be in it. But that like that deal was worked out, not behind his back, but like, you know, through the agency and everything, because he voices that character, but he's gotten a bit too old to play him on screen now. And his show concluded with season 3 of Ash versus the Evil Dead. So now he's only playing him in games. Like, he said that. He said in the visual medium of movies and shows, he wants Evil Dead to continue, but he wants them to sort of do a thing of, like, passing it on to the next generation of, like, making that brand last after Ash, that character. Because that brand, he was saying, should not just be Ash. So, that's why it was kind of up in the air, and then now it seems like he's going to be. That's cool. The Joker, though?
Yeah, Joker is my favorite villain, I think.
Out of anything?
Probably, yeah. Probably. Yeah. I love him. He's I mean, it's tough, but he's up there for sure. And the thing is he's not like a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, his character isn't like, let's get in a ring and fight.
No.
That's not who he is.
He can do it in some interpretations.
He can, but it's not,
it depends.
It's not Injustice 1, Injustice 2, and now Mortal Kombat 11 type of combat guy.
No.
That's not who the Joker is, for one. So, also, he's in everything as of late. You know what I mean? Like, I love him, and I don't want oversaturation of him, because I don't want the character himself to get, I guess, like, I don't want him
down.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't think of the word for a second, but it's gotten to a point where I want him to do well, and I want him to, and he will. He's the Joker. Everyone loves the Joker. But Mortal Kombat 11 DLC, why? I don't. There's a million other directions he could have gone.
Wouldn't you say that he should be saved for bigger events and bigger movies?
Yeah, he should.
You know what I'm looking forward to, and I don't want to spoil any of this that's going on for anyone, but there's a big storyline coming up in Batman called 3 Jokers. And the idea is that when Rebirth happened, like in the one-shot, one of the things that's shown, and it's been shown in a ton of other stuff, so you can't tell me that I'm spoiling it for you now at this point. It's like 2 or 3 years old. Is that there's 3 Jokers right now in the DC universe in comics. And like Batman's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, well, what's going on? Like, there's like the Silver Age Joker, the modern Joker, and like the Killing Joke Joker. I think it's those 3 or there might be one other than the modern one. So there's a big storyline coming up that's supposed to be a big deal explaining this, of like what's going on.
Dude,
and it's like
super cool.
That's one of the things that like I want Joker saved for, is some like, what the hell is this? Or like Death of the Family, or the Batman Endgame comic.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you use Joker for. You don't just be like, what we need something in this game. Stuffing Joker!
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean, like, he really can't, you can, but for me, like, it's really hard to oversaturate the Joker. And putting it, but like, also using him in a smart way and throwing him into Mortal Kombat 11. Where does that fit?
No,
why does that fit? He's already in Injustice. He's in 2 other NetherRealm games.
He didn't fit in the second Injustice.
Not
like,
really.
He's cool. Like, he's cool in it.
Yeah.
And like, there's gonna be some footage of him in that game in this, especially because I have a really cool outfit for him.
Yeah, that is cool.
But like, spoilers for Injustice 1. He dies.
It happens like right away.
So, and then he shows up in a very shoehorned flashback in the second game, so that they had an excuse to put Joker in again, in my opinion. And so now to really double down on it and shove Joker in a 3rd NetherRealm game, stop.
Wait till Injustice 3.
And please,
put him in again if you want.
No, don't even do that.
If you want, put him in a DLC. Maybe yeah, he shouldn't be in the main story. I agree.
Because you want to waste a DLC slot on him? You want to pay $40 for the DLC season and then he shows up in it? Wouldn't you be bummed about that?
Maybe you're... Well, I love the Joker, though.
What if it was a different Joker?
Maybe you're right.
What if it was a different guy who's the Joker?
Like Mark Hamill?
Well, no. I'm saying, we don't know who the Joker is. So what if it's a protege of the Joker?
Well,
or something like that.
You had an idea of doing the Batman Who Laughs, too. Which would be interesting.
Yeah. And we can certainly talk about that when we get into what characters we want in Injustice 3.
Yeah.
But you definitely could do something like that instead of this.
Something different, for sure.
It's too much.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a problem with some of these games as they reach out for DLC is instead of pulling in what they know fans want, they just kind of start pulling in either what developers want, or which is fine, they're making the game.
Yeah.
Or what they know will be oh look, the safe bet. He's back. The safe bet is back, Joker. And you don't need that. And frankly, I know that Batman doesn't need to be in it either. I would have been more interested in putting someone like Batman in there because I think he fits that better.
That world better?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Than Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's actually a fighter, for one.
That's a huge part of it. Yeah, it's a fighter. Yeah.
And I also think that he's had more crossover with Mortal Kombat before. I don't know. I'm not saying either of them should be, but I don't know. I don't get this direction, I guess.
No, it's weird for me. I don't know. It doesn't fit. He's not a fighter like that. And I guess this can be the interpretation of him that is a fighter, whatever. But for me, as the character has always been, he's just a guy he's a crazy person who comes up with these really good plans that are just insane. And he's not like a guy that you get in the ring with and just start throwing hands. Because he even admits himself, he's like, I'd be crazy to go into just a one-on-one fist fight with Batman. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So he has all this other stuff. So to put him into Mortal Kombat 11, it's fun, I guess, but it doesn't fit for me. So.
No, it doesn't at all, and it's oversaturated.
100%.
Fully. So, I don't know. But speaking of Mortal Kombat and Injustice, I wanted to talk to you briefly about what we want in Injustice 3 for characters. I think we can do a different piece or video or something, or even in a podcast some other time, talking about skins. But this is just pure characters that should be in the game.
Yep.
So the first thing that we had both kind of came to the same realization on was the Watchmen.
Yes.
Especially now that they're pushing them in Rebirth. Why wouldn't you bring them?
Well, they're doing an HBO show on them too.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's there's multiple interpretations of the Watchmen kind of going on right now. I don't know why you wouldn't, bank on that.
No, yeah, I mean, doing that, and the characters that we really wanted to see for sure, top two priorities, was Rorschach and Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Those were, you can, another one, fine, but I feel like if they were going to do Watchmen characters, they'd do those two. And those would be the two that would make it. I think that'd be amazing. To have those two characters, I think it'd be a great fit.
Yeah, and I think those, like you said, would be the most important. I think after you hit those, I'm not saying Night Owl can't be in it. He's the least important, though. Yeah. In terms of putting someone in it, especially because you have Batman already, and he's not as cool Batman.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that you could do Comedian if you wanted to. I'm not saying I'd love that, but you could.
You could.
I think the other one I'd be excited for would be Silk Spectre, because she is really cool.
Yes, she is. Yep.
And there's a lot you could do with them. I'm thinking kind of in moveset in terms of what they do. Dr. Manhattan would be a little closer to Dr. Fate in that way of kind of floating around and not magic, but blowing stuff up or atomizing it and stuff like that.
And we were talking to his super move would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
You could do anything with it.
Well, yeah, and even if you showed the scene of him sitting on the moon.
Yeah.
If you did something like that for his super.
Yeah.
There's a lot you could do with it. That would be really just unreal. So, and Rorschach is one of those street level, down to earth Batman-like characters who isn't Batman, and he is a fighter.
Yeah, he is.
He's really good,
and he's kind of so he'll fight in a way that will fit well with Mortal Kombat too. It's dirty. He'll break stuff. He'll kill people.
Yeah. So you're saying he could even be in Mortal Kombat?
I think so. I think he'd fit in well. Too. You know what I mean?
But I want him most in Injustice.
That's what I mean. I mean the Mortal Kombat like style though. I guess you know what I mean. Is what Injustice for sure. It'd be a great fit. And just the way that he fights, how gruesome he is, especially like looking at some of the scenes in the movie.
Yeah, like in the prison.
Oh my gosh!
So
dude.
And two, Rorschach is such a badass character. Like when the Keene Act passes in the Watchmen universe, and they outlaw the superheroes. Rorschach leaves like dead bodies of criminals outside of the local police station with a note that says one word on it to like quitting. It just says never.
No way.
Yeah, he's such a like gritty, just insane character, and you can have so much fun with him. And it's just I really want characters like that, especially if you're going to be reaching over into other brands like DC. You own Watchmen. Why not let that shine in an actual Injustice game?
Explore it, and I didn't even realize this, but you told me this like a few days ago that the Watchmen is the best-selling graphic novel of all time.
Yes,
of all time.
Well, at the very least, the best-selling superhero graphic novel of all time. Yeah. I think it's the best-selling one too.
So yeah, use it. Use them. I mean, there's some really cool characters. Use Manhattan. I think Rorschach for sure would be our favorites.
But put him in the story.
Yeah.
Like
Manhattan could be a great villain if you wanted him to be.
Yeah, a villain or like a force that like both sides are kind of not fighting to control, but fighting to get on their side.
Yeah.
Because he's a very apathetic character in terms of like picking sides.
Yes.
Like that you could do a lot with that idea, I think, as well. So I don't know. I don't know why they don't, but I'm hoping that in the next game they actually do that as well.
Watchmen.
Because people wanted that in the last Injustice.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
That was one of the speculations. Like, I hope we get some of these characters.
Yeah.
Another one too that we had come up with would be, other than just the Watchmen characters, Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond,
voiced by the original guy.
Yeah,
too.
Will Friedle.
Will Friedle. Yeah.
Who, it's not like he's dead. Like, you could certainly bring him back and have him do it. And I think they did bring him back for that short animated clip. Remember where Bruce and Batman Beyond fight all the bat suits in the Batcave? It was like for the Batman anniversary a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wasn't Will Friedle back for that?
I think it was, yeah.
And they brought him back in Justice League Unlimited in the show.
That's right.
A couple of different episodes. One of them was Epilogue, and one of them was like the 1 or 2-parter where they went to the future. So you could bring him back.
Both of them were really good.
Yeah,
too.
They were. There's a lot you could do with him. Just please don't make him a skin.
No, don't. No.
Like, he doesn't fight the exact same way Bruce does. He does not have the exact same body Bruce does. So
completely different suit, completely different time. I mean, well, isn't it when, I think they say it in the show, but when he gets in the suit, he's got like 10 times more strength than he does outside of the suit? Like,
he has the strength of 10 men.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just...
He's not Superman, but he's really strong.
He's really strong. I mean, just using him with... It'd be really cool, honestly, if they... Because they have all of these open dimensions and open alternate universes. Have Terry McGinnis show up with, like, a prime Bruce Wayne.
Or even from the future.
Yeah.
With, like, have him come back. You could do a storyline where, like, old Bruce Wayne in this universe sends back Terry McGinnis.
Yeah.
To, like, try to work with this Bruce.
Yeah, and that'd be amazing to see. To have a young Bruce Wayne and a young Terry McGinnis fighting together. Incredible. Yeah, that'd be amazing
to
see.
There's tons you could do with that. So I think that that's a great concept. I think that it's more than likely they'd go with a skin, which is what I don't want to see, because they did that a lot in Injustice 2.
They always did. In all the Arkham games, too, it was beyond skin. You never really got it, which it makes sense that you wouldn't get them. But you know what I mean? Like, we've only gotten skins. It'd be cool to get a legit character.
Yeah, because when's the last time he was in a video game other than a Lego one? Was it Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, the game, which sucked?
I didn't even know they made a game.
It's really bad.
It's gotta be. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We both want that. I'm skeptical on whether or not it would happen, but we want it.
Yep.
Another one would be, this was your idea, Robin.
Yes.
Which Robin, though?
I'm thinking like Carrie Kelly, though.
Yeah.
Or like, is it Stephanie Brown? Is that another one?
Stephanie Brown's another one, yeah.
But mainly Carrie Kelly. I think that she's great. I think it'd be really cool to have her in there, too. They've already got, isn't it Damian Wayne? Do they have Tim Drake?
Damian Wayne is in it. Tim Drake, in the comics, his fate is addressed, like, of why he's not in either game.
Okay.
We know that Damian Wayne killed Nightwing, like
yes.
Dick Grayson, before the course of the original game.
Right.
So Jason Todd and Damian Wayne are the only characters, pardon my squeaky chair, that have been Robin that we've seen so far in universe. So this is another thing you could do of like an older Batman, or even maybe have Carrie Kelly and not have her have to be, you know, with an older Batman. Like if you do you could do a big time skip, but you could also do a small time skip of like another 5 years.
Yeah.
Batman's, what would he be now? Like 40, 45 probably at that point? Because would you say he's like 37-ish in this game probably?
Yeah, he's probably, I'd say
Justice 2?
Mid-30s, maybe 40, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you do a little time skip. She's the new Robin because we already know Damian Wayne is estranged from Bruce Wayne. And he's incarcerated because of his part in the regime. Right. So he's not really Robin anymore. Like, he claims to be Robin, but he's not Bruce's Robin.
No. No.
So have Bruce pass that mantle on to someone else, and you could have that be Carrie Kelly.
Carrie Kelly, yeah. I think it'd be really cool. And if you got the original actor from the Dark Knight Returns movies, too, I think it'd be really cool. I think it's a character that I doubt they'll do. But it's a wish list, so I think it'd be cool.
It is a wish list. And honestly, if you can bring Joker into Mortal Kombat and you can bring Spawn into Mortal Kombat, I think you could take a chance on Robin.
Agreed.
I don't know, but I guess you're right. It is a...
Especially if they'd have 3 Robins potentially in the game, too. That's a lot.
Yeah, but I don't see Jason Todd coming back.
That's true. And it was only as Red Hood, too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even really a Robin, necessarily, either. So, yeah.
I would love Jason Todd to come back, but I don't think he will. They didn't bring back any... Did they bring back a single DLC character from the first game in 2? I didn't think they did.
I don't think so. No. No, I don't think they did. No.
Was Supergirl ever in Injustice? No, she's in Injustice 2.
She's in 2. Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say, is she in 1? But no, she's in 2.
No.
And I had to think about it.
Power Girl's in 2 as well.
Yeah. So you can't really do that because you made her a skin.
Yep.
Real on brand there.
Yeah, disgusting.
Wally West Flash.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
I like that one a lot, actually. They have quite a few Flash skins in this game.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to have him, though, and just go back and mix it up a bit, because Barry Allen's great, obviously.
But he's in both games.
He's in both.
You could move away from him.
And yeah, you could. And I think I'd be fine with it. I like the idea of it. Just switching that up, because Flash is I feel like a must. Like, he's one of the essential characters in the series. So just switching it to Wally West would be cool. And I think it's not necessary, but I think people would like it a lot if they did it.
Yeah, I certainly do too. And that is one you could get away with as a skin, I think, because their moveset and everything's fairly similar, but they do enough differently in the comics that you could do it in a different way. This is also the Flash that a lot of people have grown up with. He was the Flash in the Justice League shows. He was the Flash in the comics for a long time, like the main Flash. And he's kind of the replacement for Barry Allen. So maybe you do something like that, where you like have, at the beginning of the game, maybe he's Kid Flash. Maybe you kill Barry Allen in Injustice 3 and you bring in, you have Kid Flash become the real Flash.
Yeah.
It's been done before, like in comics, so there's no reason not to.
No, just mix it up a bit, yeah, which I'm sure they will, because they want to keep it fresh, and they keep adding new characters every game.
And killing characters.
And, yeah, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shazam, for example. Dude.
Yeah, one that we'll get to eventually here, too. Another one I wanted to cover quick was Godspeed. I think he's a very... unknown character. He's from the first arc of Flash Rebirth. So he's kind of like Professor Zoom or Reverse Flash as like another speedster. He uniquely has like a power to steal the speed force from other speedsters and like get faster. So like he has powers that like other speedsters don't have, or at least aren't easily able to access. So there is some interesting stuff with that I think they could do. I know though that if they were ever to put, I don't think we'll ever see more than one speedster in a game. It'd be cool too, but I just don't think we will. But I would have loved to see that. I don't know.
I agree. I think it'd be cool to have just another guy to go with. They have the skins. They have Reverse Flash in Injustice 2.
They do.
But I agree. It'd be nice to have like a rival, because everyone else seems to have a rival in the game. So
or in Batman's case, in the first game, like tons of rivals.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like more than half of the
still enough in 2
roster. Yeah, it's true.
But speaking of Batman,
Court of Owls, I think would be a great addition. It'd be Talon is who you would go with, I think. But you could do something similar to what they did with the Ninja Turtles in 2, where you've got like multiple people that come out, like multiple, so we could have like backup come out essentially.
Yeah,
and come out and help out with that. I think that'd be cool. Court of Owls are a really interesting villain, and what you were saying too is that like why they haven't showed up so far or haven't shown up already. Is that they were just kind of hiding away from Superman and just being underground so that they didn't get slaughtered. It would make
sense because they hide in the comics even. Like they are I'm trying to think of like how to say it, but they are like underground in the comics in order to keep a low profile. It's a weird thing. It's kind of like why you'd say the Illuminati or any secret society would be underground. It's like to draw attention away from themselves and kind of act like in the darkness and be able to control things from behind a curtain. So you could have something where like, even if they don't like necessarily just like pop up like, hey, what's up? We're the Court of Owls. Like you could have like a storyline where they're kind of drawn out into the open after this extended like regime change. Because Batman is really powerful, obviously, like in terms of like his knowledge, but in terms of brute strength, Batman is no threat compared to Superman. Like at least he doesn't look like it to other people. I think in terms of like give him time, he's much more of a threat.
Yeah.
But I think that you could easily explain why the Court of Owls wouldn't think so. So I think you could do something with that.
For sure.
Ra's al Ghul, again.
Similar kind of thing, a little bit.
It doesn't need a lot of explanation, that one, but
no.
You do sort of confirm that he exists in this universe just because Jason Todd is alive.
Right.
He's brought back through the Lazarus Pits.
Yeah.
In pretty much every continuity except the stupid one where Superboy broke reality by punching it.
That's so stupid.
That was a real thing.
Why?
I don't know.
That's so stupid. Ra's al Ghul is cool, and that's so dumb.
You didn't know about that?
No, that's awful.
When he was first revived. It like later on they go back and say Lazarus Pits and stuff, but like originally like the explanation was that Superboy punched so hard that he tore a hole in reality, and that like it changed certain things in the timeline.
That's awful. Dude.
And that's one of the things.
That's so bad.
Yeah, that's not a very good explanation.
No, it's not. Well, we'll just go to the next one. We'll go Riddler. Also doesn't need a lot of explanation there.
No, he doesn't. Just look at Arkham Asylum or any of them.
That's cool.
Prometheus, who somehow gets mentioned in everything and never done anything with.
He does, doesn't he?
He even had that cameo in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Like as far as in the
on
wanted poster.
Yeah.
But no one does anything with him. He's like an anti-Batman villain. Where an anti-Batman is essentially a character in the comics that's supposed to be a strategic thinker who like possesses abilities or equipment similar to Batman,
like a Deathstroke.
Yeah, and he operates on the other side. Like, imagine dropping Bruce Wayne in a group with like Lex Luthor and having them work together. That's what an anti-Batman is supposed to be. You could also do Hush. I don't know how you do that one, but you could.
Good, yeah.
It would be needed to be in the story. I think you need to explain why he's back, but you could. You could have him come back and try to replace Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I think he'd be a cool side character. But yeah, if they did something like that, that'd be interesting too. If they tried to replace Bruce Wayne with him, but he's really interesting. He's done really well in the Arkham series, so he's kind of got that creepy, just weird vibe to him. Cuts his own face off, so he could be a darker spin in the Injustice game. So I think he'd be interesting.
Yeah. Now I want to just jam over these super quick.
Yep.
These ones, but we have this idea of characters that could come from another dimension or Earth, because the Green Arrow in Justice League, in Injustice 2 is actually not from this normal Earth. He's brought over in the comics by Dr. Fate from an alternate reality. So there's plenty of characters that you could do that with too. One idea we had for that was bringing back Shazam. And that's because his death is pretty unceremonious, and like he dies pretty early on in the first game, and then he's not in the second one at all because of it.
We have the new movie, so the hype would be there. He's cool. He's a fun character. I think I could see him being one of the more likely people to come back in the new one. If they did, well, they're probably going to do a 3.
Well, and even if you pass the power of Shazam on to another person other than Billy Batson, you still could do it.
100%.
It's just that it shouldn't just be Black Adam is filling that role.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people care as much about Black Adam as Shazam.
No, they don't. No, they don't. He's cool, but I like Shazam quite a bit more. So
yeah. And the last one we have is the Batman Who Laughs. So instead of having the Joker who's dead, please stop, you could bring back the Batman Who Laughs, or bring him in for the first time. He's been a huge deal in the comics ever since the Dark Knight's Metal line. He's been like a consistent threat to Batman. In some ways, he's sort of taken the place of the Joker in the comics because they've pulled back on the Joker a little bit in terms of overusing him and started trying to use the Batman Who Laughs differently. And he's really this Batman. I don't want to spoil the character because he's so cool. So like if you ever want to read Dark Knight's Metal and you want to know where Batman Who Laughs is from, obviously, you could stop watching right here. You're near the end anyway. But the Batman Who Laughs is essentially the idea of Bruce Wayne and the Joker merging into one. Like it's Bruce Wayne infected with the Joker's toxin that turns him sort of into a combination of the two, and just drives him nuts. And he's able to pretty much systematically wipe out the entire Bat family and his entire world in his reality, and then pose a threat to others. So there's a lot you could do with that character, even if you made him the main villain or one of the main villains, and just ditch the Joker for once. You really could. Because I don't think you can explain bringing back the Joker for a third game. It'll be the second one he's dead for.
It's just not needed. Yeah. No. And I love the Joker. He's like I said, one of my favorites. But do something a little bit more unique, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, quickly. Did you want to touch on the Netflix Defenders thing?
Yeah, super quick.
Yeah.
So we have time to play Arkham City.
Right. Yeah. So quickly, Kevin Feige was asked about the Netflix series, about bringing them to the big screen, like the Defenders, so Daredevil, Luke Cage, the Punisher, those guys, Jessica Jones, right? Jones?
We were sitting in the squeakiest chairs.
I know.
In all of reality.
I know. But
Superboy's punch broke the back of this chair.
I know, dude. And Kevin Feige was asked about, like, hey, so when do you think that they'll make it to the big screen? He said, I don't know.
Never.
This is from Cinema Blend. And he said, I don't know. There were a lot of great characters that were on this Netflix series. And I think there's a period of time, it'll be a while before we can use any of them based on what the contracts were, so I'm not sure. And also, even answering that question is a spoiler, but there are some great Marvel characters there. So, there's I'm sure they'll get there eventually.
Yeah, there's a chance, but my problem is that you can't bring them to Disney Plus because this is not supposed to have mature content on it, right? Isn't that our understanding of it, that they don't want like adult content on it?
I think you're right, yeah.
And what Marvel Netflix show is not adult oriented? I guess the closest to not being is Iron Fist.
The Punisher for sure is adult rated, yeah.
Yeah, and so is Daredevil.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Actually, Jessica Jones is a lot too. There's stuff about like sexual assault and like mind control and like, I mean, there's a lot in there that's really dark.
They go darker in those ones, yeah.
And she's a heavy alcoholic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they'll get there eventually. Do you think they would recast the characters?
I don't know. I don't think I'd be interested if they did.
I mean, the guy who played the Punisher is amazing.
Yeah. So really like if they just said like this is the Punisher now, unless they had like the only explanation I'd be interested in is this is the new Punisher, not this actor is the same character in the universe.
Yeah.
Like, so the Punisher made this guy the Punisher. That's more at least acceptable because you have a precedent of that in Tony Stark was passing on the iron technology to Spider-Man in a lot of ways. Like he's still Spider-Man, but he's the Iron Spider in a lot of stuff. Captain America passing on the shield to Bucky and Falcon. Mainly to Falcon, but he wants Bucky to go with him, basically. That kind of thing. There's a precedent there. I think the only precedent for like the Terrence Howard, Don Cheadle thing, it's weird.
It's weird.
It feels bad. Yeah. It feels bad when you jump from one movie to another and it's a different actor.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
Same with the Hulk.
Yeah, Edward Norton to Ruffalo. That was weird.
And Ruffalo, I think I like more.
Oh, yeah.
But they try to act like the Hulk never happened, but it is in continuity of the MCU.
I hadn't seen it until like 6-7 months ago.
I'm sorry you had to see it.
Yeah, I never saw it. And well, it's because I didn't even hear about it. Like,
you don't need to watch it. You don't need to watch it.
No, it doesn't. And there's one quick cameo at the end. That's it.
And they do enough in Avengers to intro him that it doesn't matter.
No.
Because he has a scene where he just talks about how he got angry and he hurt a bunch of people and like he doesn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's enough. If you think about that scene and compare it to the intro of Peter Parker in Civil War, they're about the same. I think the Peter Parker one's better. But they have enough of a similar explanation that they work the same.
Yeah.
So you don't need to do anything more than that. But I just don't want them to replace, like, I don't want someone else being Daredevil or Jessica Jones or anyone. Like, at that point, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
At least the things are still canon to MCU.
Right.
And from what I've heard, Daredevil ends on a really high note, even though I haven't seen season 3. So, just leave it.
Just let it be. Yeah, otherwise, bring him back. Because, yeah, I mean, I know people love the Punisher. And that actor's phenomenal. I love him. That first season, I saw a good chunks of it. It was incredible. The fighting was really good. Just the acting was fantastic. So, I mean, I've heard some mixed things about, I think it was Luke Cage or maybe it was Iron Fist.
Oh, there's a lot of bad things about Iron Fist and mixed about Luke Cage.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah.
Luke's Cage.
Luke's Cage. So, I mean, yeah, just to be brief on it, I guess.
Are you and I in the same boat, though, on this? Of, like, bring it back if it's the same actors, but if it's either not or you're going to tone them down, just don't.
Leave it.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%. Yeah, so I say leave it, like, in that situation, but if you're going to bring back the OGs, for sure.
Yeah, because I also wouldn't want to see Thor recast off screen or something
weird.
Either.
Yeah.
It's time to stop when that hits, you know?
Yeah, it is.
It's that point.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's all we have for this week.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much, it was the Batman stuff and then just a lot of DC talk. But I mean, I guess that's all I had for this week. It was just a little bit of we didn't do the movies that we saw this week, but we'll do it again next week.
Yeah, because I didn't see much. Like, I think I saw one movie, so I can talk about it next week.
Yeah, same
more. And
week.
I've played really no different games at all. It's been a lame week.
Yeah, it has, dude.
My mom had surgery this week on her knee. So, like, a lot of my week has been spent running back and forth just trying to take care of my mom, really.
Right.
And not, like, going to movies or, like, playing different games. And I've been doing a lot of just, like, simming, like, characters I don't want to ever play as in Injustice. Like,
yeah, dude.
Like Blue Beetle and people that I never want to learn that I think are lame. That's
100%.
it.
And then just be done with them.
Yeah.
Get the trophy, that's it. Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back stronger next week with even more. Let us know if you enjoyed this. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we'll be seeing you in the next one. Konnichiwa and goodbye.